The Louisiana Committee on Parole is reconvening at headquarters in Baton Rouge, and we're hearing Mr. Van Hudson. Sir, could you state your name and your DOC number?
Yes, ma'am. My name is Van D. Hudson, 127490.
Okay. Mr. Hudson, I'm going to read some information from the file. You're a first-class offender. You're currently serving a 99-year term because you were commuted from life. You have a adjusted good time date of 2036 and a full term date of 2087. Does that sound correct to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We're going to ask you, if you will, to make a statement to this panel about why you are currently before us. Tell us about your crime and also why we should consider early release.
I didn't understand the first part of the question.
So first thing they want to know, tell them about your crime,
Oh, okay.
and then I'll tell you what to do after.
In 1986, I was in a ballroom confrontation with a Jack Mulkey, and during that ballroom confrontation, I ended up going to the car, getting a gun, and coming back and shooting and killing Jack Mulkey. I never remember doing that, but I did that. You know, that time I got here. I went on trial, not guilty by reason of insanity, and I was found guilty. And I came here in 1989.
And why do you think we should consider early release?
I've tried to do everything I can possible to do all the right things. I stayed out of trouble. I took all the programs that was available to me. I worked hard. I don't know what else I could do to get a chance to go home.
You have some people behind you in support today. Your wife would like to speak, Barbara Hudson. You also have your daughter who will not be speaking. So, Ms. Hudson, if you'll provide us with about 3 minutes of what you would like for us to know.
Well, I just want you to know that we want him to come home. He'll have a good home, all the financial and anything he needs. His family and my family, we're all anxious to have him home. He's a changed person. He's not the same person he was then.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Mr. Myers?
Yes, good afternoon. Kerry Myers with Louisiana Parole Project. We're here in support of Van Hudson's parole today. We are prepared to provide Mr. Hudson with the transitional services he needs after 38 years of incarceration. We'll make sure he's connected before he returns to his long-term residence with his wife. We'll make sure he's connected to his all the services and programs that he would need and get the proper mentoring that he would need after 38 years of incarceration, which includes technology, social norms. We'll work with his family in doing those things. Mr. Hudson has an exemplary disciplinary record. He's only 2 write-ups in 38 years. He's been a trustee for 25 years, a Class A trustee. His sentence was commuted from life in prison to make him parole eligible today, and that was based on his achievements and his record up to this time. So we just asked this board to consider this. At his age, he's exceptionally almost zero risk for any type of criminal activity. So we just asked this board to consider these things and grant us parole today.
And Ms. Hutchinson, if you would allow, I would like to hear from Warden Benoit before we have your comments. Warden?
Yes, ma'am. Van's kind of a quiet guy, low profile. Only two DV reports in his career. When he was younger, man, he worked hard. Tag plant, range crew, defense crew, and as he got older, now he's a dorm warden, janitor.
I'm listed as a general order.
He lives at Camp F. He's a Class A trustee, but you know, at his age, he's like a dorm warden, janitor.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Ms. Hutchinson, if you want to make your statements.
Yes, thank you, board. When Van was granted the opportunity for parole, when he came before the pardon board, some of the remarks made by those present was that he had good programming, he was a low risk, and he had positive remarks. His age at the time, which was about 73, so we're a little bit past that now. In his disciplinary record, Mr. Hudson, as they stated, has not had a disciplinary report since 1990. He's been a trustee since 1998 and has maintained the same job for the last 20 years. What I did provide in my brief that was not previously provided, but I know that the board gets a lot of records, is the extensive mental health overview. I know it would have been a lot for y'all to thumb through, so I did provide that to you. Just because I really wanted the board to understand Van's state of mind at the time so that we could understand why he's not that same person today. And I want to be frank that Van does not blame his addiction to the Valium or his decision to drink that night. Like, he doesn't blame the Valium for the acts of that night, but I just wanted to make sure that the board had that information so they knew kind of how we got to this road. Van also, just to make sure the board is aware, does have some gaps in his memory. Those gaps are not just limited to the events of that night. They're kind of all over the place. So we just ask that the board bear with us. It is in his medical record that he would likely have those type of gaps in his memory, likely from the prolonged use of the Valium that was prescribed to him. Mr. Hudson, at the time of the crime, had been on that for almost 10 to 15 years. All doctors that were present in his suits stated that that was likely not the right treatment for his diagnosis at the time, and at no point should have ever been prescribed for that length of time. Once Mr. Hudson was off of the Valium in the parish prison and was able to get on a different medication for his mental health issues, the haze kind of went away and he was finally able to go through trial after time in a forensic hospital. And since then, Mr. Hudson had, well, honestly, from the beginning, once Mr. Hudson actually learned of the crime, which he did not remember immediately after, he turned himself in. He was remorseful, he was shocked, he was appalled by what had happened once he realized that he had committed the crime. And as he stated, he's done everything to just never be that person again. It's the reason he's taken substance abuse and has had no substance abuse issues since then. His wife, Barbara, has remained in his life throughout his incarceration, as well as his children, Celeste and Shannon. He has a home to go home to and retire to. He, as Carrie stated, he has a low risk of recidivism. At his age, it's almost at 0. He's taken all the proper classes regarding victim awareness, and I believe I provided you with his accountability. He did the accountability letter. So we just ask that you give the Parole Project the opportunity to help Mr. Hudson reintegrate back into society. He poses no threat, and it would be welcome to a home that is stable and ready for him to come to. Also, if any of those records the board would like to see, if the office would be able to provide them to you at any point during the hearing.
Thank you. We do have Mr. Randall Myers, Assistant VA of Jefferson Parish, who would like to speak. Mr. Myers, now would be an appropriate time.
Good afternoon, Randall Myers, Assistant DA, Jefferson Parish. Mr. Hudson has, looking at his record while incarcerated, he's taken some programs. I was concerned initially on the lack of substance abuse programming, but I do note that he completed Living in Balance and Thinking for a Change in 2018. That's good, but I don't see any participation in any kind of AA or NA programs, which I think are important for him. There's strong victim opposition, continues to this day. So based on that opposition, we will oppose as well. But we do believe that AA, NA participation would be beneficial to Mr. Hudson. Thank you.
So, Mr. Knotson.
Mr. Hudson, what is your education level?
I got a GED, ma'am.
Okay, good. Did you get that? When did you get that?
Excuse me,
When did you get that?
1969, Jackson County, Mississippi.
All right, good, thank you. The record just didn't indicate that you had achieved that academic achievement. So as Mr. Meyer said, the victim's family is still opposed, still feels the impact they fear, they say they were threatened after your conviction. Could you speak to that at all?
Not that I know of, ma'am. I've never threatened anyone.
Okay. And do you still have no recollection of what happened?
No, ma'am, I don't remember doing it. I just know I did it. And I've tried over the years to remember, but I just can't remember. Just knowing I know I did it.
Right. Did you?
Sorry I did it. I can't change it. Wish I
No.
could.
Well, are you followed by mental health now at all?
No, ma'am. Since I left Jackson, they took me off all the medicine. They said the medicine was the wrong medicine that I've been taking for all these years, and that only enhanced the problem I had. And so they took me off of it, and I haven't taken any medicine since, and I haven't had the problem since. But I had.
So at the time of the crime, maybe Hutchinson can tell us if you don't recall, you were under doctor's care then?
Yes, ma'am.
You were on medication. Was there also alcohol involved?
Yes, ma'am. I was taking my medicine and I was drinking.
And since you've been incarcerated, have you, other than the living in balance, have you done any other substance abuse programs? Like, have AA meetings been available to you, and have you participated?
I started going to AA a couple of times, and then they had the pandemic, and then they just I don't know what happened to them. They just quit coming,
Okay.
during that time.
All right. I don't have any other particular questions. I think Ms. Hutchinson did a good job. I don't have any questions. Mr. Tootless.
I don't have any questions.
So, I'm still a little confused, Ms. Hutchinson, maybe you can, help me out here. He had the mental issue and I read all of it, and it indicated that he was diagnosed schizophrenic bipolar perhaps, but he's never had any kind of follow-up mental health since then.
No, not since I left Jackson, ma'am. That was it. I've never had any here. They did to screen me when I went in front of the clemency board and gave me a 400 question test, and I talked to I guess it was a psychologist right before I went on the clemency board. But as far as mental health treatment here, no, ma'am. I haven't had any mental health issues.
You have no depression, no.
Yes, ma'am. I'm depressed sometimes, but that should be normal for my situation.
Yeah. I would agree. Agree.
If I may, he has been seen by LPP's licensed social worker. I think there may have been a small packet sent in before mine. So in there, she's already done his mental health evaluation for us. And in the letter, it provides that he will have mental health monitoring throughout the first year. If y'all would like it longer, obviously, we would accommodate it. And also, as in that same letter, it does state that she will assist him in locating NAAA meetings in his area. So we had already kind of identified it. And so it wasn't in my packet. I think it was in the packet that came before. So we did identify it. We're working on it. And if the board determines that you want it a little longer, then we'll obviously meet your expectation.
Thank you. I don't think we have any other questions. Ms. Renatza?
Okay, I'm prepared to vote. Mr. Hudson, as I've stated to many before today, I voted for you when you appeared before the pardon board, and I'm going to vote for you again today. I'm going to vote to grant you parole through the parole project transition plan, eventually to home, and follow through with the mental health monitoring and the AA meetings, as has been suggested by the district attorney's office. Further, you're to have no contact whatsoever with any member of the multifamily.
Yes, ma'am.
And I wish you well. That's all I got.
Mr. Pillar?
I concur with Ms. Renata.
Mr. Hudson, I had lots of questions about the mental health issues coming into the hearing, and I'm glad that they've been addressed during the hearing. I would strongly suggest the continued support when he returns home eventually, but my vote would be to grant. Mr. Hudson, part of the standard conditions of release is that you're not supposed to go to any bars. So stay out of the bars. You need to keep yourself very, very to yourself. Okay?
All right, ma'am. I'm never gonna go in another bar as long as I live.
I think that's a wise decision. My vote today is to grant. So that concludes our business at LSP.